Okay, fellas, in this video today, we're gonna be going out ice fishing for the first time ever. Now, fellas, this is gonna be quite the tricky adventure because I've never ice fished in my life. So, me and my buddy Jake, we're gonna be gathering up the resources and heading out into the ice to get ourselves some monster fish. Besides that, fellas, we need to go catch these bastards. But first, we have to go over the gear. Okay, fellas, to start off this here adventure, we're gonna go over our rod of choice. Our rod of choice is not the most expensive bastard in the world. It is an amazing $20. I know, top dollar stuff. But fellas, here are some of the lures that we're going to be using to catch ourselves some of these monsters. This here is a fish looking one. This here is a smaller fish looking one. Jigs these are. And fellas, here's a pretty big jig. I know, impressive stuff. But fellas, where we're going is a heavily populated spot with a load of other ice fishermen. And hopefully, fellas, they have some spots too. Okay, fellas, Mr. Jake is setting up the shelter. Now, since it is a bit chilly out here, that's gonna be a lifesaver, but this is our first time be out on the ice fishing, so this is gonna be quite the experiment. We talked to some fellas already. They saying they're catching some nice perch and some monstrous pike, but we gotta do that for ourselves. And fellas, our chances of doing that today are hopefully good. I'm just gonna be honest, fellas, that they may not be amazing, but we're gonna try it. But first, we gotta set up the shelter. Okay, fellas, the shelter is up. Mr. Jake is inside already making it a home.
Alrighty. I don't know how this is gonna work with both of us, but
is it quite cramped? No. It needs some improvements, but I think it can work.
I'll pass me the auger.
Do you want your rod or your auger first?
I need that rod. I need everything that's outside in here.
Work it, work it, work it, work it, work it.
I don't know what we got ourselves into, Hunter.
Hopefully some fish.
Well, I sure hope so after all this.
Don't fret now, we have to drill another
We're
hole.
probably 5-6 inches thick.
Whew.
And it's still going.
Okay, fellas, here's the super trooper, Mr. Jake. He just drilled himself his hole. Now I gotta get my hole drilled in. And fellas, hopefully soon we can get ourselves some fat bastard perch or some dangerous pike. But fellas, I gotta start drilling now. Jake might just have some action.
I'm gonna leave it be. If I get another hit, I'll Oh, there's my...
So far, there's not been much life, sadly.
No.
I've created a disaster with my pole. Now, fellas, day one did not go as planned, sadly. It was, for a reason, 5 degrees cold. But even worse, we did not get a single bite. I know, fellas, that is quite harsh. But, fellas, we are gonna regroup, replan our attack, and hopefully then we can, you know, find these fish. Because right now, fellas, it's like there's no fish at all. I heard from some people on the ice that there's actually fish here. I know that's kind of crazy, but fellas, we gotta get back out there and try again. Okay, fellas, Mr. Jake's in the blind already. He already has his hole drilled. I gotta start my hole, of course. Fellas, we need to, you know, get on these fish, because I've been hearing the rumors, of course, that there's monster pike running up and down this here bay. So hopefully, fellas, we can get ourselves a monster pike or at least some bluegills or perch, because those are some fine eaters. But fellas, we need to get in our house and start drilling. Okay, sadly nothing's happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got no bites, nothing. And that's quite disappointing, but hopefully the fish will be here soon.
Damn, that was a big pike. You see the size of that? That thing was huge.
Okay, fellas, sadly, I was too slow to get the camera out of my pocket, but fellas, what just happened was Mr. Jake had himself a monster pike. I mean, this bastard came out of nowhere, ate up his lure, and was about to come up through the ice, but he chewed through the line like a damn degenerate. So fellas, they were starting to wake up, the pike that is, and hopefully soon we can have ourselves monsters. That was a
Monster.
was it?
Pike, huge pike.
Somebody better get that bastard.
It's about to hit it pretty soon. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It's monstrous. That is a fucking monster. That looked like that one I hooked earlier.
I don't think that thing could fit in the hole.
That looked like what I caught earlier. Remember the one I hooked earlier? He was chasing that big perch going there. There was a perch go by, and then all of a sudden that monster.
Wait, so what happened?
I had my lure on top of his back.
What happened?
I seen a perch go right by here. Not even a minute later, I seen that massive pike that we just saw. He's chasing right after it.
Did you get?
Nope, he's heading right there. He's heading right there.
Come on, big boy. I got a treat for you.
He's staring right at it.
Mine or yours?
Yours. He's about to hit yours.
Oh!
I told you.
He took a swipe at it.
Did he?
He just barely missed it. It is really sad. I mean, Jake had one on the line. We had him breezing by the lures they didn't want. I think these are some intelligent pike now. Shocking. They didn't want our trash. So fellas, next time when we go out on the ice, we're gonna get these bastard pike. There's a swarm of them around here. Too many that are not in my hand. Fellas, I only last an hour half. That is just brutal out here. I don't know if you guys can even hear me, but fellas, it's currently 25 degrees and the wind is up to 25, so it's probably more like -5. So fellas, we're just gonna get out here because I am about frozen. Okay, fellas, as you saw in that video, those were some pretty fierce conditions. Now, sadly, we did not catch any fish. Well, we almost caught fish, or should I say, Mr. Jake almost caught fish at our first time ever ice fishing. But fellas, sadly, we did not have any success. We did not have a good enough game plan. The weather was too much of an asshole, let's just go with. But fellas, hopefully next time we're gonna be going to a new spot. We're gonna do our little research now, fellas, and hopefully we can find ourselves the missing piece to get ourselves some monster quality eating fish. But fellas, sadly, this means it is the end of the fishing. Thanks for watching. If you guys want to see your last fishing video down here. Of course, you guys want to see your last goose hunt of the year, video down here. But besides that, I'll see y'all next video. See ya!